The phrase daddy daycare, banish it. Just get rid of it.
Right now.
What do you mean daddy day? I don't get mummy daycare. Like
Hands on dad. That one riles me. I can't.
If he's pushing the pram, such a good dad.
A hero for pushing his own child's pram. Welcome to Parents You've Got This, We've Got You, the new podcast for brand new parents from Tommee Tippee. I'm Jilly Isabella, a new mum in the thick of it, just like you. Each episode, I'm joined by a guest star and a parenting professional. We're going to share real stories and expert advice to help you navigate pregnancy, the newborn stage, and early parenthood. Let's share the highs, the lows, and everything in between. No fluff, zero judgment, just real talk. You've got this, and we've got you. When you're a brand new parent, community can mean everything. But what happens if your friends don't quite get it and you're starting to feel a little bit lonely? In this episode, we're talking about finding your people, those who can share the real talk and who can remind you that you're not alone. Joining us today is Danielle Peazer, podcaster, dancer, content creator, and mum to 17-month-old Mia. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah,
You just mentioned there about your chaotic breakfast. Yeah. How did that look like this morning with Mia?
I mean, it's an everyday occurrence now. We need the porridge to go in the mouth, darling, but instead just all over everything else.
She's exploring.
She's exploring.
Yeah. And helping us learn the importance of community and how to build it, we have Michelle Kennedy, mum and founder of the Peanut app. What is the Peanut app?
So Peanut is a social network which connects women across different life stages. So women who are going through their infertility journey, women who are pregnant, new mums, and mums of toddlers, tweens and beyond.
I can't wait to get more into Peanut as well. Danielle, can we start back at the beginning and can you take us back to Mia's birth story?
So I had a planned C-section, which I've always been happily open to talk about, but I feel as though that's quite rare. Which I really don't like. So I'm all for championing, you can have that planned C-section and you can talk about it. And it's mainly because I'm a bit of a control freak. From the day I found out I was pregnant, the thought that I could just be walking around one day and all of a sudden, gosh, here we are, let's go. Not for me. I need to kind of book it in my diary. Everything has a slot in the calendar. And I needed that with this, to prepare myself, obviously, mentally, but also physically. And I stand by it was the best birth for me. It was the best way also for my partner as well. He's quite a flapper. So I don't think he would have dealt very well had it been that kind of chaotic labour story that we sometimes hear. And it was lovely. It was very calm and relaxed. We made our way to the hospital when we needed to. Played music, we have a specific song that she was born to, and it was lovely. And I think all of the things that you hear about, especially when it comes to cesarean sections, yes, it is a major surgery, and you hear all these things, you're 7 layers, and all of that is true that does happen, but it doesn't have to be traumatic. It doesn't have to be, oh God, you're going in for major surgery. And even the recovery afterwards, I think my body responded to it so well because I was mentally prepared for it. I feel really fortunate that I had a really positive birth story. If I were to have another child, I would do the same again. It just worked. Yeah,
it's so nice to hear a positive of C-sections because I do think you often do hear of it was unplanned and it was emergency. So it's so nice that you are a champion that. You mentioned there that you got some negative or almost judgment with that. Did you find it was because of the C-section that you chose?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think even in the lead up, several medical professionals that I saw, not all of them on the whole, most of them were really, really welcoming and understanding. But when they said, what type of birth are you having? And I would say a planned C-section, it'd be like, oh, and why is that? Because I want to. That's it.
That's my reason, full stop, I want to.
Yeah. And even when you do decide to have an elective one, you have to go through 2 rounds of, I guess, consultation.
Okay.
So that the professionals can make sure that you are of a sound mind.
Okay.
In order to give birth that way, because it's almost as if they would think, why would anyone want to do that? So I really need to check that you're okay, mentally going into it, which I found wild, because in my head I'm like, why would anyone want to try and push for 36 hours? Like it's just not for me.
Absolutely.
Like you've got to be slightly, if you're willing to go through all of that. Yeah. So for me, I was like, this is, I'm in a little bit more control. And I do feel as though I was met with a little bit of negativity, but I just stayed true to what I wanted. My partner was so supportive, and he was like, whatever you want to do, this is your body and you're bringing our child into the world, whatever is going to be the best for both of you.
Like you said, it is your own body, and women get judged all the time for like what we want to do with our own bodies. Do you think that then finding your people and having your community to have that support is important then when you are making these decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I actually hadn't known anyone really close to me that had a planned C-section. I knew people that had emergency C-sections, and the whole process is completely different, and I can totally understand how that can be very traumatizing for people. So I do think it was very helpful I found people during my pregnancy that had C-sections, and they would offer me a little bit of advice, but actually from my close-knit circle I didn't know anyone that had one.
Michelle, can you tell us about Peanut and how it came about?
So Peanut came about really because I didn't have anyone who was going through the same thing as me. I had my son, and I was really focused from a career perspective. I knew exactly who I was. I kind of had an identity, and I was really clear on so many things. And then motherhood came along, and this beautiful little boy, and I was like, and he felt so perfect that I just felt completely overwhelmed by him and everything that I felt like I should be doing. What kind of birth should I have? I didn't end up having the birth that I wanted to have. Did that mean I was failing? I didn't end up feeding in the way that I wanted to feed. Did that mean that I was failing? What was wrong with me? How come these other girls that I could see, they had friends and they seemed to, be walking down the high street together, and I didn't have anyone. So there was lots of kind of this feeling of constantly getting it wrong, but also feeling really overwhelmed. And so I went back to work when Finn was quite small and started to feel honestly a bit more me and a bit more like myself, and started to feel a bit clearer about actually who I was going to show up as a mommy and what that meant. As we became besties, like my little boy and I, and we really got to know each other, I really felt like, okay, now is the time that actually the bigger he gets, I've just got more questions. It hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't got easier. Actually, I just need other women more, not less. And so when he was nearly 3, I was like, right, I'm going to do it. So 3 years I lived with it. And I started Peanut, which was really just can we use all the algorithms that we use for people to date romantically, and can we use those to help people find friends and other women going through the same thing as them?
It's genius and such a valuable app. Peanut also has a book as well, right?
We do, handily to my left. Peanut has a book out now which is called It Takes a Village. It Takes a Village is a combination of hundreds of women's stories from across different parts of the world, telling their story from trying to conceive right through to the end of year 1. So you can dip in and out of it. It was never designed to read cover to cover. Amazing if you can, but let's be honest, we don't have time. So whatever you're experiencing, there's an index at the back. Go straight there, whether it's to do with feeding, sleep, intimacy, whatever it is, navigate to the right part, and you'll read other women's stories and some experts looped in as well, who will tell you what's happening and what you can do.
Yeah, I think that's so useful, the index part, because I do find, see each stage, like I'm so obsessed with the stage I'm in right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't care. Like
That's
when he was doing it 2 months, boring. Like she's 4 months now, I want to know what's happening. So that is so useful that there's the index.
That's
there.
it. You can't be bothered about what's gone, and you're not thinking far enough ahead to be that prepared. None of us are that person. So you're in the here and now, and you want to dip in and out. You want to know. And also, I want to know how another woman did it. I want to know what her experience was. Real stories, real women at the point that you're at.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get my hands on it. Danielle, when you were pregnant with Mia, did you do any prenatal baby groups? And if you did, like, how did you find your friends in those groups?
So, yeah, we did. We signed up to like a block of a few classes. And I'm going to be honest, like, that wasn't the community that I found. Like, I don't speak to those other couples that are in the class, like nothing wrong with them. They just weren't really like our people, right? Yeah. And this is what the whole point is. Like, there's one woman that I'll remember, Daisy. And
shout out Daisy.
Shout out to Daisy. The teacher, I guess, was basically saying, like, what's one thing, aside from your actual baby, what's one thing that you're really kind of going to look forward to, when your baby is here. And she just said, I can't wait to have a glass of wine. And in that moment, I was like, Daisy, you, me, like,
best friends.
We could be besties. Yeah. And it was just such a funny moment, because there we all are, like, waddling around, like, so pregnant, like, craving, like, to have, like, a glass of wine, like, guilt-free as well. And I was like, yeah, you're my vibe. But,
Love that for you and Daisy. You mentioned there that you did find your community. Did you have friends that were already parents?
Yeah, so I have an older sister. She has 2 children. And I've always been really active in my nieces. They're both girls as well, and I knew I was having a girl, so I just knew I was going to add to kind of the girl gang, like cousins. It was going to be that was really special, and my sister and I are really close. So I already had her as like my go-to, and also my mum as well, even though obviously I'm her youngest, so that was so long ago, and things have changed, but it was still nice to, go to my mum and my sister. I had a couple of friends, one of whom actually gave birth the week after I had Mia, but she'd already had she got a 5-year-old, so she'd already done it once. So she was, kind of my go-to of like literally when we were pregnant. She came around my house one day and we hadn't told each other, and she took her coat off and I was like, oh my God, you're pregnant. She was like, yeah, and I was like, me too, but I had a big jumper on so she couldn't see, and she's like, oh my God, it's like that, is it like Spider-Man? Where everyone's like, pointing at each other. So instantly, like, it was so nice to have her. And then once I announced it on social media, I just feel like that was like just the biggest thing of me gaining my community. I kept it quiet until I was around 21 weeks. And then after that, it was incredible. I was so nervous, because you hear about like the mum shaming and all of this side of social media, and I could not speak more opposite of that. I just feel like it's been the most incredible community that's welcomed me in, like, just not really knowing what I'm doing, and I'm asking questions, and I've set up one of those broadcast channels on Instagram, and people are DMing me saying, can you ask this in your new mum club, can you do this, can you ask that, I'm not sure about this. And some people have even messaged saying, I'm not a new mum, but I'm a nan, or I'm a grandma, and I want to know how to look after my grandchild in the best way now, because last time I did it was 30 odd years ago, and like, things have changed. And so I felt social media definitely was like the place that I found such a great community, because I do feel as though I potentially struggled in areas of my friendships where I thought that would kind of lift me up and support me wasn't necessarily as strong as I had envisioned. But fortunately, I found this incredible community online, which I'm so grateful for.
It's so nice that you had such a positive response to social media, because often more than not you hear of the negatives. And I think as well, when you are an adult, like, why is the concept of making friends as an adult so embarrassing? Like, what, I have to go out and like now be like, hi, my name's Jilly, do you want to be friends? It feels so silly. But that is why spaces like Peanut or spaces like your broadcast channel is so valuable, because you've all kind of got a shared motive, and so you just kind of feel a wee bit more seen. Why do you think, Michelle, that support is so important in like motherhood and parenthood?
Yeah, I think what you said is absolutely right. There is nothing worse than admitting I don't have a friend or I feel lonely. It's a really, really difficult thing to say as an adult, because by the time you've reached adulthood, you're meant to have it all figured out, right? This is not something that we want to feel like we're back at school again and it's the first day and you don't know anyone in the playground. This is something that we should have sorted. So when you don't have it sorted, it really does start to feel very isolating. What happens when people feel isolated or they feel lonely is they start to become more withdrawn. It becomes really difficult then to talk about issues that you're facing. And so you start to feel like you're the only one. Everyone else must have this sorted. I'm the only one who feels like this. And that really starts to lead to feelings of postpartum depression. It can really have a difficult impact on your baby and your child as well, not just on you. The reason that we really want people to go out there and find community and find support is so that you never feel like you're the only one, because you're not. You're never the only one. You can get the answer to that question we all have, which is it normal? It's always pretty much normal. Yeah. You can also have that one person. It doesn't need to be 5 people or 10 people. You just need one person. And by making that one connection, that can absolutely transform your experience as a mother. And I think that's the most important thing. It's just one.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, it's important to carve that time out as a mum and take away from, okay, I'm mum, but I'm also me as well. You've went through this big life-changing event, but you still can have that part of yourself that you had before you're a mum. In the book, It Takes a Village, there's an analogy I love, and it's about a cup. Can you expand a wee bit on that?
Yeah, it's my favourite part, actually. And we were talking about it earlier. It's about... we all know that phrase about, you need a cup and filling up everyone else's cup. And when we were speaking to different experts for the book, one of the experts I spoke to was a therapist, and she said, look, it's not just about taking your cup and filling everyone else's. If you take your cup and fill everyone else's, at some point your cup is empty. So you filled up everyone else's, but your cup is empty. What you need to do is put all the cups underneath yours, turn the tap on and leave it running. And if you think about that analogy, you're like, wait, like the champagne cascading down.
I like it to a champagne
tower. You referred to a champagne tower. I like where your brain's going, Danielle. Yeah,
we love
you're going to
this.
get on.
Yeah, we love this analogy. Better, maybe. Anyway, so with the glasses and with the glass that's sitting on top and the water never stops, every glass is overfilling. And I think that's the most important analogy, honestly, and one of the most poignant parts of the book for me, because by filling your glass, not just once, but repeatedly, you're continually refilling everyone around you's glass as well. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's a great thing to remember. I love that. I'm definitely going to tap into that champagne tower when I'm feeling depleted. After Mia was born, did you go to any baby groups?
Yes, so I went to my first class with her when she was 6 weeks old, and I went with my friend who'd had a baby like the following week. And I was petrified. I was petrified that Mia was going to cry. I was petrified she was going to kick off. She did all of those things.
All your fears came to life.
They came to life. But hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
Like, I survived it. She survived it. Like, we did it. And then after that, we started finding, more classes. Although I wouldn't necessarily say I became friends with other people in those classes, and I wouldn't necessarily see them outside of those classes. Every week it was like, how's your girl doing this week? Or we've got a tooth coming through. Or like, so even just for that short amount of time of that class, I'd go in and I'd speak to predominantly the other mums in the class, which was really lovely. And it was a nice way for me to kind of just know, okay, if I don't really know what I'm doing, these other mums also maybe don't as well, because I feel like those classes are predominantly first-time mums. Maybe because second time round you're either like, I'll find something else to do with them or whatever. It was predominantly first-time mums. So it did feel really nice to kind of be able to do something for her, but also myself benefit as well from like seeing other mums being like, how are you doing? Are we okay? Like, is this good? Like what you said, is this normal? And everyone's like, that's normal. It's okay.
It's more than normal. Yeah. It's just nice to speak to people that really get it. And I hate that when you're like, when you're a mum, you really get it, because it seems so condescending if you're not. But when you're a mum, you really do get it. And other mums can relate so hard. Michelle, with Peanut and finding that, what's been the most impactful or rewarding part of that journey?
Oh my God, like I've got the best job in the world. It's the most amazing thing. It's the greatest honor of my life. I get to go into work every day and know that we leave the world a tiny bit better than we found it. I don't take it for granted. It's a massive honor that any woman chooses to download Peanut, let alone then finds friends on there or finds support or answers her question or tracks her pregnancy or whatever it might be that she's doing on Peanut. What a massive honor that she chose us. Honestly, I love it. And I hear amazing stories all the time, but I think just knowing that you're not alone and you don't have to be alone. And by the way, we weren't ever meant to do it alone. Yeah. That was never the intention. Yeah. And we get it. We know that. I think is an amazing thing.
And there is also an aspect on the app as well. So it's not just for mums or mums to be, but there's also for people that are going through fertility issues and menopause as well, right?
Whatever your journey to motherhood is going to be, maybe you're trying to conceive, IVF, adoption, surrogacy, whatever it is, there is another part of the app for that. It's a closed garden, so you won't see other women who are maybe pregnant or going through their own journey. So we know that can be really hard. So you're in your own walled garden in that respect. And yes, women who are in a later life stage, maybe they're going through perimenopause or menopause, there's a section for that too. I did a talk recently about the book, and there was a girl sitting on the front row, and she said, I just want to tell you, I've been through an ordeal of trying to conceive for 10 years. And during COVID, I joined Peanut. And I met 3 other girls on Peanut who were going through the same thing as me. They are my sisters. They're my best friends. We are still so close today. And I now have a 3-year-old. And my other friend has a 2-year-old. And but for Peanut, I feel like not only would we not have met each other, I don't know if I would have my baby. And honestly, it was the most amazing thing. Becky, thank you for sharing that story if she's out there. But she was crying. I was crying.
I'm almost crying.
It was the most amazing moment. And I think there is nothing more beautiful than when women come together and they support each other. And how incredible she got her joy, and she has her beautiful baby.
What a rewarding job you have. Yeah, it's a beautiful space.
Thank you.
One of our lovely listeners has been feeling isolated because she's going through her experience of loss. So we have a segment of the show where our lovely listeners can ask an expert. And so we have Georgia from Essex, and she's looking for some expert advice on how to manage this.
Hi, my name is Georgia. I'm from Essex. I recently had a miscarriage at 9 weeks, and as much as my friends have been amazing and there for me, I feel quite lonely in it. And I was wondering if you had any advice on finding support to help me get through this. Thank you.
Yeah, it can be incredibly isolating experiencing that, and there's maybe a bit of a stigma around it. So yeah, Georgia's question there was, how can she find support going through that?
Firstly, sorry, Georgia. Loss is really difficult, and it's difficult at any stage. And we have this kind of culturally, we don't tell anyone that we're pregnant until we're past the 12-week mark, which puts such a pressure on you, because then you feel like, but if I didn't make it to 12 weeks, does it mean that I can't talk about it? Does it mean I can't share it? Does it mean it was worth less? And the answer to that is no. This isn't totally artificial construct that we've put in to tell people don't tell anyone until 12 weeks or plus. The absolutely right thing to do is to talk about it with your friends, and is to talk about it with your partner if you're going through that with them. But it's also to try and find other people who are going through it. We all need other people who can lift us up. And so finding other people, finding support groups, whatever your method, Peanut, doesn't matter what it is. If you can find another woman who has gone through it, it will be amazing to you how many women have experienced loss and don't talk about it. And by being brave enough to share that, you will find that person who will say, you know what, I've been there, and this is what happened, and this is what it looked like for me. And it is really, really difficult. And people say really crass things as well, right? It's the time when people can make really difficult comments. Oh, it wasn't meant to be, or any of these things. And if you are the person who's receiving the news as well, please just listen and say sorry, and don't pass any of those comments, because I think those comments can make it even more difficult and challenging. Trying to find someone else with a shared experience, I think, will really help.
And it's like the old school thing, a problem shared is a problem halved. You don't need to carry that weight alone, and there's probably a lot more people out there that has experienced it. Yeah, so that's 100%. Great advice, Michelle. What has been the biggest surprise to you in motherhood?
Probably has been that there were people that I thought would be there that haven't been.
Okay.
Some of who I would have considered my closest friends still haven't met my child.
Okay.
And these were people that were at my baby shower, were very supportive throughout my pregnancy. I haven't even been able to have a conversation to kind of ask why, because of course I have to look at it from their perspective. They may be going through something, but I would hope, because obviously they know about my situation of being pregnant and this is where I'm at. And obviously, as you were saying, we keep a lot of things, especially the early stages of pregnancy or to do with fertility, we keep it very close to our chest. I actually don't know if there's anything that she would have wanted to share with me. But I would have hoped that we were close enough that she could have done.
Yeah.
So I feel like in terms of community, thinking that she would have been part of my community even now, even though she doesn't have children, I do. I don't know if that's an active choice or where she's at with that. But I think that surprised me most, that I thought that you're my close friend before, we'll still be close friends. It's okay that our lives are slightly differing.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We cheer for each other's wins, and we're there for each other in the losses. So I think that's probably been the most surprising thing, and the thing I've had to adjust to most, thinking that people that maybe would have been in my community aren't.
Yeah, friendships change. Michelle, do you find that resonates a lot with the Peanut community?
sometimes we have expectations that everyone is with us for the whole journey. And actually, the truth of the matter is, not everyone is going to be part of it. And I think you can say that for any new chapter, right? Motherhood might be the best chapter in your life, but it's not the only chapter in your life. And so when it comes to that, different characters come into your chapter and some leave. That can be really hard because you've got this exciting new part of your life and then someone else isn't there to share it. That's really, really difficult. Certainly for me, in experiences like that, it feels like a loss, right? Because you're like, oh, I miss you. Where are you? Similarly, you can go out with those friends and they're talking about a date that they went on last night and you're like, the thought of someone touching me right now makes me want to like, oh, don't talk about that. Right? I remember going out with one of my girlfriends for dinner and she was telling me about something and I was like, I can't. Like, I'm
so far past that stage, I can't.
I feel sick. I just can't imagine that. There are different moments and we're moving through things at different times and that is hard. I think it's why it's really important to have like that one person who is going through what you're going through at the same time. And again, that doesn't have to be forever. People move in and out of your chapters of your book at different points. So it might not be forever. It might just be for now, but it is really hard. And it just means like that community of right now is even more important.
Yeah, I've found that as well with becoming a mum, but the way that I've kind of dealt with that, so like I don't get my feelings too hurt by it, as I say, like friends are seasons. So like they're just not with me for this season, and like that might be my friend that maybe like once I'm kind of like the baby's up and I'm going back to having more free time, I might go back to that season and that friend's there. Danielle, do you find yourself with different friendship groups adapting like who you are as a person to your mum or your parents' friends versus your non-parent friends?
Yeah, and it's something that I'm trying to not do.
Okay.
But I think it's just an automatic thing of like, oh, if I'm with my non-parent friends, like there's almost, and maybe it's the people pleaser in me, I have to like prove that like I'm still this like fun Danielle, like that was like pre-baby, that was like going out until 2 a.m. and you know, like buying the wine and whatever. Like I have to almost prove that. And then when I'm with some of my mum friends, obviously the conversation does kind of stem more around like babies and children and stuff, so it's just a different vibe. And yeah, that's something that I'm trying to not do, but I do think it's probably just quite natural and automatic for us because we put this kind of pressure on ourselves, I think, as mums to make sure that everyone else is okay around us, and that extends to friendships. Like make sure, okay, you're seen. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I'll figure it out. Like that kind of thing, which is why, again, I think community is important. Like you said, finding someone that is going through that with you at the same time so you can be just like authentically yourself.
So valuable. Danielle, we are at our no time to think quick fire round. So I've got some quick fire questions for you. Yes, no, one word answer. If you can't think of anything, you can just say pass. Okay. Mia's favourite food?
Ham.
Kids show that gets in your nerves?
Blippy.
Mia's first word?
Dada.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Baby product you couldn't live without?
Perfect prep.
Most annoying unsolicited advice that you've had?
Probably the C-section, like, you know, are you sure? That whole kind of tone of, you know, giving advice without really giving advice.
Yeah. One word to sum up motherhood so far?
Joy.
The perfect mum friend date?
It's going to sound horrible, but anything that doesn't involve my child.
I honestly knew that was coming because, same. I get it.
Yeah, just because I just feel like I can't ever fully lock in and focus. Because she's so little that it's still eyes on all the time, you know. But maybe when she gets a bit bigger, I'll just say soft play and she'll just go in the soft play and we can just sit and chat.
Yeah. And favourite me time activity?
Spa. Which I know obviously isn't like a daily thing, but I would say cup of tea then, having an undisturbed cup of tea. But if we're really going
pushing
all out,
it out,
I'm going to a spa.
Yeah. A 90-minute massage.
Putting my phone on do not disturb.
Dream situation. Yeah. So welcome to our confessional booth. Danielle, have you got any funny, any relatable stories when you're looking back in your parenting journey that you can confess to us now?
There is one, and Mia was probably maybe 4 or 5 months old, so I feel like you may be approaching this.
Okay.
And I took her to an event. I feel like that in itself was probably just a big risk, but I was like, do you know what? I'm going to put on my big girl pants. I'm going to take her to an event, and it was a really fancy hotel. It was a mum baby event, a really fancy hotel in London. She'd already done an explosive punami on the way there, and I was like, fine. And then I changed her into this really cute outfit. I purposely didn't take her in the outfit, and she had these little like tights on this little dress. And then I was in there, and I was like, and I was like, oh, is happened again. So I took her, changed her, but she had pooped like through these tights.
Oh no.
And I was like,
Not the good tights.
But all I had taken into like the baby change with me was like just the like a nappy and a bag. I was like, what do I do? And then my handbag, and I had to put these pooey tights in my handbag that was then under the table of this lunch the entire time, whilst she's just sat there like, cool.
Mum,
okay.
where's my tights?
Where's my tights? Legs a bit chilly. I was like, no. You don't deserve tights right now. They're in my bag. Poo stained.
Deserve them.
Yeah, they went straight into the... There was no bin. Like, I couldn't throw them in a bin. I was like, I'm not going to throw them into a fancy hotel
No, of course not.
bin.
We're taking them home and we're washing them.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, I need to just conceal them.
And that baby poo smell, I can smell it now.
It wasn't my finest. I say my finest hour. It wasn't her finest hour.
It wasn't her finest hour, but listen, we've all got a poo story, so you're not in that alone. Definitely not. Michelle, in It Takes a Village, the book, you gather stories from women across the world. What stood out to you about those identity shifts and the relationships when women become mothers?
Some themes are almost entirely universal, right? And we all go through it. That feeling of like, okay, who am I now as a mother? Will I ever sleep? You will. Will they ever sleep? Maybe. All of those things are so normal and they are so universal. Like, we've all lived them and we've all been there. Also, those feelings of frustration, sometimes with people giving unsolicited advice or with in-laws, that's a universal theme. I spoke to so many women, and the stories that you hear, we've all experienced that thing when someone tells you that you're not holding the baby right, feeding the baby right, whatever it might be, the universal feelings. And also those feelings of like intimacy and with your partner and what that looks like, and are you ready, and is it normal that I feel totally repulsed by it, and all of these things. You know, these are all universal themes wherever you're living, whatever your experience of birth or feeding or how you're raising your baby. I think the things that make us different are our surroundings and how we're doing it. Are you doing it on your own? Are you doing it and you're living with your extended family? Are you doing it and you are kind of working and outside of the home and back in kind of full-time employment? Are you working full-time at home with your little one? All of these different things, that does have an impact on how we experience things. And I think what was really important about the book is acknowledging every way is normal. Whatever your flavour of motherhood is, it's normal. And we want to represent it and talk about it and show it, because when you don't see your version of motherhood being shown or spoken about, that's when you start to, again, feel really lonely and think that you aren't like fitting in with what everyone else's experience is.
Yeah, definitely. It is so nice, that sentiment though, that motherhood really does connect you to like all these mums around the world, no matter what their cultural background is, no matter what your environment looks like. I just think that's such a nice sentiment to take away from it. So like, if you are feeling lonely, don't. We're all out there and we're all doing it just as best to the ability as we can. Danielle, was there anything you found that people asked you that was so triggering?
I think as soon as I'd had her, it was like, are you going to have another one?
Yeah.
Like, are you being for real? I
literally still have a bump.
Right? Like, I literally am barely keeping this one alive, like, let alone myself. Yeah. And it was always men as well. It always came from, like, men that I would see. Like, so, you know, just have another one now. Just get it over and done with. Excuse me, sir, have you ever been pregnant?
Literally.
Right? Like, I still find baffling when people are like, so you can have another one. And I understand, like, the sentiment is there. And, you know, it's, oh, this is so incredible. Like, are you going to want to, like, you know, expand your family? But, like, just no. Like, I just think it's something that you just don't need to ask someone or, you know, no matter what stage they're at, you know, or even, like, would you like more children is something rather than, like, when are you going to have the next one?
Maybe,
so, like one is not nothing.
Yeah.
So, like, just I've produced one child, and so that's nothing. It's only when you've got another one that then it's like, okay, well, now you're a mum, you know?
Michelle, why do you think it is men that ask that? Do you think it is maybe because they haven't went through, like, the physical and emotional change that you do go through when you're pregnant and you do give birth?
I think actually it's just one of those things where people don't know what to say most of the time. And so people say these things as a filler, but I also think that there are a set of questions that every woman gets asked, and it is, have you got a partner? And then when you get the partner, it's, are you going to get married? And then, you know, are you going to have a baby? And then you have a baby, you're going to have another one. They never stop. And there is like this predetermined path that we're all meant to tread. And I think that is enormous pressure, right? Because if you do anything outside of that convention of questions, you feel like you're the one that's wrong or you're the one that's not normal. The best way to deal with questions like that is totally disarm people. So I'm like, why are you going to have another? Like, I just have to like put it back because I can't deal with the unsolicited question. I'm not great at that.
Yeah, I like that approach, definitely.
Push it back.
When it comes to your relationship, Danielle, do you feel like people treat your boyfriend differently because he's dad versus you?
Absolutely. The phrase daddy daycare, banish it. Just get rid of it.
Right now.
What do you mean daddy day? I don't get mummy daycare. Like
Hands-on dad. Have you ever heard hands-on mum? That one riles me. I can.
If he's pushing the pram, such a good dad.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
A hero for pushing his own child's pram.
Sunny, my partner, actually took Mia out a couple of weekends ago, and he took her to the pub and he got himself a Guinness and he sat down and they had a little roast dinner. Both had a roast dinner.
Cute.
And towards the end of his meal, a family went up to him and said, I just want to say, I think what you're doing is amazing. No word of a lie. A family went up to him and said, I think what you're doing is amazing. And he came back and he was like, I have to tell you because I know that you're going to be absolutely fuming at what this person said to me. Could you imagine ever, if you go out with your child, someone being like, I think what you're doing is amazing?
No, absolutely not. And that phrase of like hands-on or helping out, no, that's just parenting the child that you chose to have.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, or if I go out, for a friend's birthday and then you see someone, where is Mia
Danielle.
tonight at home with her? Oh, is he babysitting?
I knew you were going to say
Is
it.
he babysitting?
Babysitting his child, what do you mean? No.
What do you mean?
He knows the child. It's like half him, like his sperm literally like swam to my egg.
Yeah.
He knows the child.
He is doing what he is responsible for.
Yeah, it's infuriating. I'm with you on that. Michelle, does that pressure on the mum reflect what you hear in the peanut community?
I have this amazing ability to be able to see what women are talking about and the issues and what the challenges are and the frustrations. And most women will say my partner's amazing, but like not more amazing than me, as amazing as me, maybe. But we're on a level, and actually, celebrating him and not celebrating me is frustrating. Ultimately, I think no woman wants to be celebrated. We just don't want to be taken for granted. And it to be assumed that if we're not doing a role that we're expected to do in the way we're expected to do it, that we're somehow wrong or getting it wrong. Even just hearing both of you, I just, I almost knew what was going to come out, because I think we've still got a long way to go. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and even in the most supportive relationship, you can still feel quite alone being a mum, and this is why community is so important. Danielle, there's a TikTok that you found that resonated with you, and it leads perfectly into our group chat approved segment. Can you tell us about the Nobody Needs Me time TikTok?
Yeah, we were literally speaking about this before. I saw a video and it was a mum basically explaining how she doesn't need me time, and people always go, you need to have a bit of me time, have a bit of me time. She was like, what I need is nobody needs me time.
Love it.
So I gave you an hour of me time, you'd be like, well, I'm gonna get my daughter's lunch ready because after my hour off, she needs that, and then actually I need to go and do that washing, and then I need to do all like my WhatsApp admin of like my friends that I haven't caught up with. Whereas actually I just need some time when nobody needs me. I don't need to be replying to WhatsApps. I don't need to be doing anything around the house. I don't need to be calling someone back. I don't need to be doing any of that stuff. I think that is something that I'm trying to implement a little bit more, and that I would always kind of encourage mums to do, because there's that whole common phrase about when the baby sleeps, you sleep, and then women always say, but who's going to clean the house? And it's like those things automatically fill up then that time, so that's not your me time, because your me time is then put in with chores and the day-to-day things that we have to do. And I just think it's so important to just try, even if it's like once a week. It should be a daily thing that you get a bit of time, but even if it starts off as just like once a week, like I love doing reformer Pilates, and I still have to kind of say, is it okay if I go and do a reformer class to fit around what everyone else needs? Yeah. My boyfriend, he books paddling like it's going out of fashion.
Yeah, and we don't need approval for it. We don't need that signed off by HR. This is something I don't know if might resonate with you as well. See, when I do have childcare, so like if my wee girl Winnie is with her dad or with her grandparents, I feel like I'm on borrowed time. I feel rushed off my feet. Like, see, even if I know that Winnie is being looked after the whole day, I still feel rushed. I still feel this element of like, I need to get back home to the baby. The baby's not even there. The baby's not coming home for like 3 hours. But that sense of rush, I'm like, when is that going to leave? When can I chill?
I don't think it does. I literally posted a video about this the other day. I was sat in my car waiting to get my hair done, and I was like, I've booked this appointment in. Mia is fine. I know that I'm going to go back, and also I know that the girl doing my hair can only do it in the time it takes her to do it. Like this is like what I'm here for. Yet still, I'm like, I need you to hurry up because I need to get back.
Yeah.
That feeling of borrowed time, and I mean, your children are slightly older. Like, does it ever go? Like,
No.
Okay, great, thank you.
That's the
full
good
of hope.
news.
Full of hope in this podcast.
Exactly, that's the great news, guys. No, what does change is actually your attitude to what it means to have that time and to be on borrowed time, and also what time is really important time. We have to be a bit kinder to ourselves on what time really matters. Like, is it more important that you feel good, you've had the hair done, you don't have to think about it as well, because that's a stressor. I know that that's a stressor. So it's all done and you can go home and actually be with her. Or is it more important that you're home but you're stressing and you're rushed, and then actually you're still thinking about all the things? The quality of the time is really important, and that's like an education piece for us as well. We have to get better at it, at being kinder to ourselves and catching each other. So I need to tell you you're allowed to have your hair done, and I need to tell you you're not on borrowed time, she's good. And that is really important to like remind each other, so that you then do start valuing the quality of time rather than the amount of time. That's not the thing.
Yeah, it's like reaffirming it. It's okay.
It's okay.
Absolutely. I've not been shy in sharing that TikTok has essentially raised my baby. The amount of things that I've searched on it, like, it's invaluable to me. It's like the third parent in Winnie's life. Danielle, given your big following, you mentioned there that you do have a broadcast channel. You have had a really positive experience with almost creating a community on your own socials.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, I would also say, similar to what you said about your daughter, like, there have been women that have helped me, you know, especially when it came to things like weaning and stuff like that. You know, yes, I've got people that I can ask, my sister, my mum, whatever, but it's so nice to get, I think, such an abundance of different advice when you've asked for it. You know, I'll put out a little like question box and be like, tips on how to do this, or tips on like what to pack for holiday, and people are like, don't bother with that, but make sure you've got that. And then I can just compile it and be like, this is actually making my life so much easier, rather than like searching for answers from here, there and everywhere. It's like everyone is just there, and kind of people then can go back and be like, oh, she spoke about holidays a few messages up. Like, let me go and have a look at that. And it's been a game changer. What did they do before social media?
I said this to my mum. I was like, see, during the night when you were doing the night feeds, like, what did you do? Did you literally just sit in the darkness and like feed the baby? Oh, it's so boring. I've completed TikTok in the night feeds. Like, that's a real shame for you. It is so nice that you had that positive experience with socials. But Michelle, do you think there are some pressures on mums to, you know, to be the perfect mum because of socials sometimes?
Yeah, listen, I am so happy to hear that when social works, and when social media works and it really works, I think that is absolutely, like, it's soul food. That's exactly what should happen. But there are many women who don't build a profile, who aren't able to have that interaction, who are maybe just going about their every day. And where do they feel that they're seen? Because maybe if they're not living up to a certain level or an expectation, again, they start to feel like, well, my life doesn't look like her life looks. You should consume social like you consume a magazine, right?
Yeah.
And before the magazine is put together, there's a creative director, there's a stylist, hair and makeup, lighting, photography, post-production, really important, post-production. And that's what you're looking at when it hits the magazine. It's exactly what's happened when you go onto your grid or whatever, scroll your feed. You are seeing people post-production. And that is not the same thing as you walking to the park on your own for the third time that week because your baby won't stop crying. That's real. If you are living that part of your life and that real life, and you're feeling overwhelmed by kind of the perfect image elsewhere, that's where I think having real women around you is really important. And I hope that you find that on Peanut or wherever else you choose to look. It's never as glossy as the magazine.
Yeah. Danielle, I think you do that so well with your approach to sharing mum stuff. How do you feel like your approach does come across real and genuine for your followers?
I mean, I feel like I could probably ask you this question as well. Like, I feel like my approach to social media is I always, and maybe similar to what Peanut does, I want to leave people better than what they've found me.
Yeah.
Whatever the phrase is. So I always want to provide a sense of escapism, a sense of aspiration, I guess, inspiration, but also I think mainly that escapism. And in doing that, I don't want to make people feel like bogged down, I also, out of respect for my child and also my own life, I'm not going to share her having a tantrum.
Yeah.
Because also, when she's having a tantrum, I'm hardly going to go, stay there, darling. Let me get my phone out. Oh, sorry, can you face the window a little bit more so I get better light on you?
Now cry.
Right? Yeah. Can you just hold that tone? Because that's a really good pitch of a cry that I think will resonate really well with my followers. Like, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm not actually gonna share the actual moment.
Yeah.
Some people do, and that's fine. But I'm choosing not to do that. It's finding the balance of still being able to be very real. And you know, I actually posted not that long ago like a carousel, and it was just one picture of the same picture of my child, but I put text over it, and the text was things that my 1-year-old has thrown a tantrum over recently.
Yeah.
And then you scroll past and it'd be like, I didn't let her step in dog poo in the park. Scroll past, I didn't let her take the dirty nappy out of the nappy bin. How dare I not let her do, like, things like that. So I try and give my reality in a different form.
Yeah.
Because I am aware that, you know, yeah, people do look at social media and they see this post-production. But what I hope is that people stay long enough so that, yes, they might have seen a picture of, you know, my super adorable, cute baby, and, you know, they think everything looks great, and then maybe they'll read the caption or they'll stay on the video a little bit longer and actually realise that, oh, God, this has happened.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, this happens to her as well.
Yeah.
And I think finding that balance as someone with a responsibility to share online, it is quite a lot. And hopefully I'm providing kind of an insight to other people, whether they are parents or not, but also sharing, you know, the realities of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you strike the balance so well of being private in the moments where, like, you want to be respectful of your child, but also you want your followers to feel seen and feel heard. And it's not all like the glossy magazine, like you said, Michelle. Michelle, what are the topics that women feel like they can't really talk about? There's almost like a stigma with it, and where they need that safe place and that shared experience to feel seen.
So there are some topics which are just the slightly more like biology type topics. So that might be hemorrhoids, piles. We love a story about piles on Peanut. We love those stories. That's one where you just have to be real and have the conversation and get it out there. Lots of questions about that. That might be because your birth was traumatic. Maybe you've got a tear. Maybe you've had something that you didn't, you know, fully appreciate. We hear a lot of stories around that. So I think that's really important to feel safe and secure so that you can really be vulnerable, because some of those experiences are very vulnerable and you have to be able to be honest. The things where we really want to unite people, feeding, and that might be how you feed, what you feed, when you feed. That might be the weaning conversation. That might be sleep. And how are you sleeping, and how are you sleep training, and what does that look like for you, and do you agree with it? So there are these things where women want to say, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And you just want someone else to say, I've got you, this is what I did and it was fine. Or do you know what, me either, but should we figure it out together? Whatever it might be. I think there are things also that we want to ask about ourselves. It's not always just about kind of raising these beautiful little beasts. Sometimes it's about, actually, I'd really like to understand, what do I do now? Who am I now? What's left of me? Are you going to work full time now, or are you going to work at home with the babe, and what does that look like? And I feel guilty, or whatever it might be. So I think that there are so many conversations that we want to have. There is something different, and the things that we discuss are different when we're women together. You know, you don't mind talking about your 4th degree tear, and you really want to get into that and what that looked like. And sometimes you won't have that conversation as honestly if you are not in a space where another woman is going to kind of listen with no judgment.
Yeah, like Michelle mentioned there, Danielle, did you find sharing those challenges with mum friends, say such as breastfeeding, really help you through it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so, you know, you do just hear maybe one mainstream piece of advice or one thing, and actually you sometimes need people to help break through that like noise or that facade of what you've seen. And on the other hand, there may be things then that I didn't realise I was finding really easy. And then my friend would be like, yeah, but then how do you do that? Because I can't do that, or my baby isn't sleeping and yours seems to always be sleeping, and things like that. So like what you said right at the start, a problem shared is a problem halved. It rings true so much in motherhood. It really does. Like wherever you can find that community, it will just do you the world of good in so many ways.
Yeah. And there's no shame in asking for help or reaching out. And also, you mentioned a little bit there, Michelle, about wanting mum time. There's no shame in wanting a wee break away from mum life. Do you find that there is a pressure on women to have it all?
Can I just tell you, firstly, if you're listening to this and whatever, or watching this, and whatever stage you're at, there is no point in telling yourself that you can have it all, because I don't know what it all looks like, but that does not exist. That is a total fictitious tale that we've all been told so that we all feel a little bit like we're failing every day. And so scrap that. That's not true at all. What you can have is really moments of real joy, and those moments of overwhelming joy, and you can have really low lows, and it doesn't mean that you don't love your baby or love your life. It just means that at that moment everything feels like it's not exactly how you thought it was going to be, and that's totally fine too.
Yeah.
So I think it's just about knowing that there are extreme highs, extreme lows, and do you know what? Sometimes it's just really boring as well.
Why does no one say that? It is actually sometimes it's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
So it's what I get up again, and then I do the wake window, and then I do the nap, and then I do the feeding, and then I change the bum. It is just a bit boring.
It's boring, right? Particularly in the early days when they don't give a lot back, and you are tired, and there's no engagement, or there's no you're waiting for a smile at that point. You're like, wow,
tell me you love me.
You don't do anything. And I can't go to the park because what am I doing in the park with you? You can't go to the park, right?
You can't even see right now. You're 2 weeks old. You don't have vision.
That's it. I'm waving those black and white cards in front of the baby's face. That's it, right? Yeah. So we've all been there. It can be really monotonous, and it can be really mundane. And it's okay to say that too, right? Because we all were someone before we earned this new title of mum.
Definitely.
And so I think just being able to say that is absolutely huge. And in case no one said it, it's totally great. You're doing an amazing job. It's totally fine to feel like that. And if it's really feeling like a bad day, the only thing I can ever tell anyone to do is get out of the house. Put a pair of trainers or Uggs or whatever it is at the front door, and this is what I used to do, and a coat if it's one of those days where you're actually not getting dressed.
Yeah.
And just get out of the house and walk. And if you can just walk for 5 to 10 minutes, everything does start to clear and feel a bit better.
Yeah, bit of fresh air.
Just a bit of anything, even rain, whatever, just get out of the house.
Get a good raincoat, because we're in the UK and most likely or not it will be raining.
Get a hood.
Yeah, but no, so much of what you said there resonates, and I'm pretty sure that all our listeners will be feeling very seen and very heard right now. Just going off the back of us talking about women feeling like they need to do it all, Michelle, can you tell me a little bit about martyrdom and how that ties into it?
Yeah, I think that what we see are lots of women who are feeling every day like they have to be the one to say, yeah, I've got this. So rather than being brave enough to say, because it takes real bravery to say, I need help. It takes an even braver step to say, yes, I'm going to take the help that you're offering me. That is such a hard move, because we like things done in our way, because we're very particular about what we're doing, because we don't want to let anyone down. So we've got all of these different layers of pressure. And so what happens is you start to keep taking on what you're doing, and you become this martyr. So you're like, yeah, fine, I'll do it. No, it's no problem. I'll do it. Yeah, another job, give it to me. What's that? Your mother needs something. I've got it. And so we layer up these tasks, and all that really is layered up is really resentment.
Yeah.
Because actually all you're thinking is, you could have done that. Why'd you ask me about that? Don't check with me. Just do it. And so actually being the one to say, I need help, or I'd love you to do this, is great. Now there is a little line when, if your partner says, well, tell me what to do. And it's like, oh, right, well, if I tell you what to do, I may as well have done it myself.
Yeah, and then it also makes out as if that's just purely your responsibility. And when they say, oh, what can I do to help? And it's like, no, it's not what can you do to help, because I've already carried the mental load of just doing the dishes or cleaning up when the baby's sleeping. It's not helping, it's just pulling your weight, really.
That's it. It's coexistence, right? And so we do get that feeling of well, don't tell me I need to tell you what to do, because also I'm not your mum.
Yeah.
I've got someone else over here that I'm looking after. So there is this feeling of and that does build up, and that can really build to levels of resentment as well. So I think what we really want to be able to do is just have this thing where it's listen, I need help. What can you do to help me? And if you frame it as, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, what can you do to help me? That's really difficult for someone to say, well, I don't know, tell me what to do. I don't know, what do you think you can do?
Definitely. And it is probably in the short term, it is sometimes easier to just do it yourself and like not have to sit down and explain that this is the way to do it. But for the long term, you just don't want to build that resentment up, because long term it will half the load. It will make it feel a bit lighter, even just not with partners, even just with like if there's family or friends that come round. Like sometimes like I will be sitting and like someone will take Winnie off me and they'll be feeding her and I'll just be like rocking back and forth and I'm like, oh my god, why are they feeding her like that? And then she starts screaming and I'm like, oh my god, like just come back to mum. But I'm like, no, because you need your break as well, and in the long run this is going to give you some freedom. Which we need that. We need a breath sometimes.
You need a breather. We all need it.
Danielle, from your own experiences, what advice would you give to new mums looking for their people out there who might be experiencing that unexpected social shift that you did, like you mentioned, where, you know, some friends weren't in your life anymore and you're just trying to find that new community?
Force is maybe a little bit too much of an extreme word, but force yourself into situations that you may otherwise would shy away from. Like we said about making friends as an adult, like there's something just a little bit like
cringe.
Cringe about it. But actually, like, book into the classes, even if it is, you know, the baby classes, if you can't get out to do something without, and put yourself in situations where you know you're going to have to talk to other people, you know, join community groups or go to the rhyme time at the library and things like that. Even just if you are going for a walk, you know, the number of times, especially in like my area now, that I walk and I'll see the same mums with their pram, and it's that like that.
Yeah. And I love that nod. I'm like, I see you, you see me. Yeah, we're doing good.
Right? We're doing good. Like, you've got this. And I actually witnessed a really special encounter at the playground once. I was kind of dealing with Mia, and I saw two other people with much smaller children. And one of the mums, she just looked very like she wasn't really right. And the other one went up to her and said, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, you know, like one of those days. She was like, you're doing a really good job, by the way. She's like, I know I don't know you, but you're doing a really good job. Yeah. And it's like, wow, like the power.
So powerful,
in that.
Yeah.
Like,
she might have not wanted that day to get out the door, but then look what happened. It probably gave her like that little bit of recharge to be like, I'm doing good.
Like, force yourself to put yourself in those situations because good can come from it.
Yeah. It's almost a bit of like little bit like exposure therapy, like that first. It's almost like, you know, when you've not been to the gym for ages, and then you go back to the gym and like you're terrified like going to the gym again, you're like, oh, but then once you're there, it's actually not that bad. Lastly, Danielle, I give this last question to all of our guests. If you could bottle up one moment from your parent journey so far, what would it be?
Can I have two?
Of course you can.
Thank you. One would be when she's at the age now where she just wants to read books, and she does that little backward shuffle to sit. And so I'm sat cross-legged, and she'll like be facing me, and then I'll go spin, and she'll spin, and she'll kind of shuffle back and sit her bum.
On you.
Yeah, right, ready. She's like, right, I'm ready for my book. So that would be one. But I would say another one, would probably be the moment that I realised, like, wow, I'm actually doing this. Like that, like kind of light bulb moment of like, I'm doing this, and I'm doing okay. Yeah. Like I'm doing it okay. Like this whole mum thing.
You were doing it better than okay.
One of those first moments of actually realising like, oh my God, I've got out of the house with her. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that. And I consistently have those moments, but I think the first few times where you're like, am I mumming?
Is this starting to feel easier? Lighter? Yeah. I can do it.
And it's like you don't realise, like, you know, nothing changes, but then everything has changed, you know, that kind of thing. So I feel like that was another one as well. I was like, I remember like saying to my mum, like, I felt good today.
Oh.
And it's like that will come.
Yeah.
Like,
and
so for anyone that doesn't feel like it ever will, it will. It's comes, like slow and steady wins the race. Like small wins.
Definitely.
Just small wins.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Oh, guys, this has been such a lovely chat. I feel as if we've made our own wee community here already. Thank you so much for being so open with us, Danielle. For anyone that isn't following you, where can they find you on socials?
So on Instagram, my handle is just @Danielle Peazer, and I'm trying the TikTok thing, and I am Danielle Peazer on TikTok.
Okay, gorgeous, love that. And Michelle, thank you so much for sharing our insights. We don't need to do it alone, and I think all your stories sharing from Peanut really does show the importance of finding a community. Where can listeners find Peanut the app, and also where can they get the book?
Find Peanut the app on the App Store or on Google Play, and you can find the bookstore on Amazon or in your local retailer.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yay.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Parents, You've Got This, We've Got You. You can find Tommee Tippee on socials. Just click the links in the description below and check out Tommee Tippee's website. There's loads of advice and amazing products to help you through your parenting journey. And for our podcast listeners, you can get 15% off at TommeeTippee.com using code You'veGotThis15. You've got this and we've got you. Come back next week for our last episode of the series where I'm talking to Megan McKenna all about baby brain and if science says it's actually a real thing.